Have you ever stood in front of a store shelf and just wondered which laptop is actually worth your money? The elegant MacBook Pro 14-inch or the flashy Asus ROG Zephyrus G14? Today we are finally settling that debate. If you love gadgets and honest takes, stick around. Right off the bat, these two look like cousins from different families. Both are full aluminum, minimalist, and they both feel premium in the hand. The Zephyrus is the showboat though, with an LED slash on the lid that you can turn off if you want to be normal. It can display notifications or battery life, and yes, it makes you nostalgic for the old glowing Apple logo. The MacBook leans more professional. The aluminum just feels a touch higher grade. The Zephyrus is sturdy and tough, but you might hear a tiny rattle on the bottom every now and then. The MacBook? It feels like a block of metal. It is heavier, but that weight translates into a sense of invincibility. You could argue it is built slightly better. Now let us talk power, because the spec pages read like different languages, but in practice, these two are close. The MacBook Pro runs the new M4 Pro chip with a 12-core CPU, a 16-core GPU, and 24 gigabytes of unified memory. The Zephyrus packs an 8-core Ryzen 9 CPU, a 90-watt RTX 4070 GPU, and 32 gigabytes of RAM. Comparing numbers is tempting, but they handle work very differently, so raw specs only tell half the story. Ports used to be a Mac weakness, but no longer. Still, the Zephyrus wins on sheer variety. You do not always want to carry a dongle. MacBooks do have MagSafe, and that magnetic charger is one of those small features that saves your laptop from a tragic end when someone trips over the cable. Also, the MacBook charger is tiny because the whole system sips power. The Zephyrus charger is the reminder that you are carrying actual desktop power in a laptop. Keyboards on both are really good. The MacBook keys have a shorter travel and feel light. They are pleasant, but sometimes I feel like I am not quite hitting the keys. The Zephyrus keys travel further and give firmer feedback. If you type all day, that matters. Backlights are a fun place where personalities show through. The MacBook sticks to white. The Zephyrus lets you go full rainbow. You do not have to be loud about it, but it is an option if you want to feel like a cyberpunk rainbow on the subway. Trackpads are the next battleground. Both are glass and smooth, but the MacBook's Force Touch trackpad is in another league. The click simulation using haptic feedback is so satisfying it almost becomes part of the experience. It is a clear win there. Screens get interesting fast. The MacBook uses a mini LED display and the Zephyrus uses OLED. Both look gorgeous, but mini LED brings mind-blowing brightness. We are talking bright enough to use in direct sunlight without squinting. The Zephyrus gets very bright too, but nothing like the mini LED's peak luminance. The anti-reflective layer on the Zephyrus actually handles reflections slightly better, but the mini LED of the MacBook crushes it in brightness while still producing deep black similar to OLED. That edge goes to the MacBook. Hinges feel small but meaningful. The Zephyrus hinge has some wobble when you're on the move or typing on your lap. The MacBook hinge is tight and confidence-inspiring. Speakers are where surprises happen. The Zephyrus has been the Windows speaker king for a long time, but the MacBook Pro comes in and changes the game. It delivers clearer sound and stronger bass than almost any laptop I have tested. And while the Zephyrus can simulate a larger surround effect, the MacBook just sounds cleaner and more defined. Microphones on both are solid for calls and quick recordings, but sound quality favors the MacBook slightly. Then the big philosophical split. Operating systems. Windows runs almost everything, macOS runs a lot, and Apple has improved compatibility, but many programs and games are still Windows first. Gaming on macOS is possible now more than ever, but it remains a niche. If your workflow depends on specific Windows applications or legacy programs, the Zephyrus is the safer bet. Benchmarks tell a fun story. In synthetic tests, the MacBook's CPU scores are often nearly double the Zephyrus in certain tests, though the Zephyrus can outperform on GPU-heavy benchmarks where the RTX 4070 flexes its muscles. Real-world tasks matter more than numbers on a graph, so I exported the same 4K video project on both. The Zephyrus finished in 5 minutes and 10 seconds. The MacBook finished in 4 minutes and 40 seconds. The MacBook was faster in that real-life editing job. That said, some Windows programs do not run at all on macOS or crash, so speed is only part of the puzzle. Gaming is still where the Zephyrus shines for obvious reasons. Minecraft with higher render distance sits comfortably on the Zephyrus and hovers around 100 100 frames per second. The MacBook can manage lighter titles and some heavier ones if you tweak settings, but out of a big library of games, only a handful will run smoothly on macOS. So do not buy a MacBook as your main gaming rig. Battery life flips the conversation again. Apple's ARM architecture chip SIP power, that matters. I ran a streaming test with both at comparable brightness and refresh rates. The Zephyrus lasted 9 to 10 hours, which is impressive for a Windows gaming machine. The MacBook lasted 15 to 16 hours. That is the kind of battery life that changes your daily routine. If you travel, edit on the go, or hate being tethered to an outlet, the MacBook becomes extremely appealing. Less power draw also means less heat and less fan noise during normal tasks. Under heavy loads, both fans will spin, but the Zephyrus tends to get louder. Upgradeability and storage is another practical point. Apple locks things down. You cannot upgrade the internals later, so you must choose wisely at purchase, and Apple charges a premium for higher storage tiers. The Zephyrus is not wildly upgradable either, but you can expand storage more affordably if you need to. Pricing is messy and region dependent, but generally the Zephyrus is cheaper for similar raw power, while the MacBook commands a higher price for its optimization, battery life, and display tech. So which is worth it? The honest answer is it depends. Both are fantastic and will last you a long time. The MacBook Pro is the portable powerhouse with absurd battery life, a stunning display, elite speakers, and that buttery trackpad. It is the right pick if you do a lot of intensive work on the go and you know your software runs on macOS. The Zephyrus G14 is the flexible all-rounder. It supports more software, it is a better gaming machine, it has more ports, and you can get more raw GPU power for less money. My simple recommendation is this: if you are deep in the Windows ecosystem, stay there. If you are comfortable in macOS, stick with it. Switching operating systems is a time sink, and it is annoying during busy months or during a semester. If you do not plan to game, if you need a laptop that lasts all day away from outlets, and if the apps you use are Mac friendly, go with the MacBook Pro. If you want to play games, run Windows only programs, or want more hardware flexibility for the price, go Zephyrus. You really cannot go wrong with either. Both are brilliant machines, each with a different strength. Tell me which one you would pick and why. And if you want a deep dive on battery testing, thermal testing, or a gaming performance series, say so and I will do it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.